Welcome back to my mental health and crime channel. My name is Huda Longden. I'm a licensed cognitive behavior therapist and a licensed mental health counselor. Please like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed the contents in this channel. I'd like to start by thanking all my subscribers that have been with me since I started this awareness channel, and my new subscribers. I would really like to welcome you all to my channel. I'd really like to thank you all for all the kindness, for all the support that I've been getting constantly. I want to thank you all for keeping the chat classy, respectful, and for you all and for me being very mindful, which is really important. I would like to continue by discussing one of the last clips that I made. Like you're aware of, I was having a sad moment when I made that clip, and I wanted actually to just drop it there and not explain myself anymore, because it's not good dragging on a topic. Once usually we say something about it, we should just leave it to be. But I do have to talk about it a bit because of the comments and the feedback that I received. To start with, most of the feedback that I received was nothing but excellent, beautiful, warm-hearted, and I really appreciate each and every one who left me a feedback, especially the positive ones, and even the ones who left me unpositive comments. I didn't expect actually to receive so much support, which has built up my confidence, and I don't know how to thank you all. I just have to say thank you. I really mean it from my heart. Some of the comments, most of the comments were so thoughtful that I had a tear in my eye reading it. You all have just proved how caring, thoughtful, intelligent people you all are, all of you all. And I really love that, because in this life, with all the difficulties that people are going through, we deserve to be loving and caring towards each other, even if we do not know each other. Like they say, it's free to be kind. It doesn't cost anything. Coming back to the comments, like I said, thank you to everyone who left me a lot of positive comments and explained what they felt about the bullying going on. I have to address this again, and I promise myself that I'm not going to back off with people who promote hate, discrimination on YouTube or anywhere in the world. We are in year 2022. We're not in the 18th, 14th centuries. And thank God, everyone has a freedom of speech, but we're supposed to be using it with mindfulness and with respect. So I have to address, there were some people who left me comments saying that, trying to defend Nikalina 777 and her posse, the people up on her panel. Some people were trying to convince me that she was just trying to address Leah, and that Leah is a good Muslim woman and all that. And I addressed the person nice and respectfully. I said that unless you are promoting hate and you're defending the bullies, you're not welcome in my channel. Unless you need mental health counseling, I can help you with that for free. It is disgusting that hate is going on in those channels, and then some people have the nerve to actually come and defend those kind of characters. I grew up in a boarding school from when I was 7 years old to when I was 17 years old. That is the most, I believe, vulnerable period of children's life. And in a way, I'm so proud that I grew up in a boarding school, because we learned nothing but manners, discipline. We used to get punished if we bullied anyone. So if the bullies think that they can take anything out of me, I'm quite thick-skinned in that. And then I became a counselor, mental health counselor. I did my university and I became a cognitive behavior therapist for a reason. To help the vulnerable people was number one. And number two is to help the vulnerable people in mental health not to get bullied by bullies. I even had a comment. I'm a respectful person. I do not put out people's comments by reading the names or saying the names out, because that's part of confidentiality. That's part of mindfulness that many of these people need to learn. I got a comment from someone saying that Nikalina 777 is a professor in a university in Michigan. Allegedly, because I don't know if that's true, but I find that very interesting, because if that is the case, then we have a professor here, a so-called professor, promoting hate in a channel. I have an older brother that has studied his master's and his PhD as a professor. He's a professor in science and politics and religion, quite interestingly. He works with 3 different universities, and he has a good position there. When I heard that Nikalina 77 is a professor, I asked my brother what he thought about that. He was shocked. He said, to start with, as professors who have a PhD doc degree, that is the last thing we're supposed to do. Our license can be taken from us. He said, and on top of that, if she is teaching students in the university and she's spreading hate on YouTube channels, he said, I really find that disgusting. I don't know if she's a professor or not, but if she is a professor, she needs to be extra mindful. because most of the people do actually have degrees, just like you have a degree of being a professor, Nikalina. I have a degree in the mental health branch. And the reason I say that is I had to address it again because maybe you're trying to be mindful of not saying anything about religion, which I doubt. But now you are actually discussing and trashing people who have addictions on your channel. You are promoting hate. I even got a comment that the other people on your panel have been bullying and being disrespectful to a blind man and his wife. I repeat again, blind man. That is part of the disability law. So if you are a professor in whatever university, it doesn't really bother me. Our degree is mental health. We are here to promote love, not hate. And I will never stand for to see any human being, especially with disabilities, being put down. Because I and my other counselors, psychiatrists, doctors, we work for and we try to keep the ethical code to help all people who are suffering, whether it's mental health, even physical health is as important. I could hear you clearly talking about somebody and trashing them, talking about they have liver cancer or kidney cancer, or they're faking it or they're not faking it. What kind of professor doesn't have mindfulness? What kind of professor attacks people? Is that the kind of professor you are? And I have one question for you. If you are a so-called professor, don't you have Muslim students in the university? Aren't they Muslim people you work with? Because you're trashing Islam last time. And if you're a professor, don't you have disabled people in the university? Blind people, people who have cancer, people who have problems. I really think that you need to get therapy and get a psychiatrist evaluation, because even professors do go to therapy. Don't think you're immune, that you can cause hate on YouTube, attack vulnerable people, discriminate people's religion, and get away with it. So for the people who are leaving me comments trying to defend a hateful, ignorant person, please do not do that. Because as a counselor, we work against bullies. We don't stand for bullies. Neither does the world. And if you are a professor in Michigan University, poor Michigan University, they should know that they have a character like you spreading hate when you come from work. Shame on you. The reason I'm paying attention to your nonsense is not because I want to create drama. It's because when vulnerable people with disabilities are coming and complaining, I, as a mental health counselor, will stand up for them. Whether I don't live in the USA or not, doesn't matter. Allegedly, as a professor, you're supposed to be educating and spreading love. You're supposed to be spreading wisdom. And you're supposed to be promoting positive things on your channel. Just the name of your channel is a discrimination to women in general. It just shows what kind of character, what kind of morals you have as a human being. You spread so much hate in your channel while you're standing there with your children around you. What kind of a role model are you to your children? Are you trying to grow your children up with hate towards disabled people, towards Muslims? It looks like you don't have any contents in your channel at all. That's the reason your channel is just full of hate. You're attacking innocent, vulnerable people. You're putting people's life in danger. I'm not the only one watching you. Believe me, there are many educated people who are following your channel. Most of these vulnerable people are already too vulnerable to stand and defend themselves. I respect them and I understand them. I ain't acting like I'm a superwoman that I'll stand against you. No, I'll follow the guidelines and I'll make sure I report you till you stop the hate and nonsense. If you don't, there will be consequences, I promise you. Because you are hurting vulnerable people who have disabilities, whether it's physical, mental disabilities, whether they're vulnerable. You'll have the nerve to be doing that. And don't think I ain't falling with what you all are doing with all your hate. You brought it to my channel, putting in disgusting sites on my channel. For what? It just exposes what kind of character you are, and it exposes the people on your channel. When they want to come to my channel to defend you, that just surely shows. Like they say, birds of a feather flock together. Your nonsense and your hate needs to stop. Because you're hurting vulnerable people. You ain't a therapist, you ain't a psychiatrist. You do not deal with vulnerable people who have mental health. We deal with them. So we know how much it kills their self-confidence. We know the consequences that can bring on. But for you, you think this is just a joyride. I'm wondering if you are having any kind of mental illness yourself, to be honest. Because people who, I have to say that you seem to be a narcissistic. Your whole character is rubbish. It's all about you, and you're putting vulnerable people down. YouTube needs to follow what kind of people are on their panel. You think you're better than other people. I've noticed that, and you ain't. Everyone is equal. And to be kind doesn't cost anything. To be respectful, to be mindful, to have ethical morals is not only the code of counseling and mental health, that is the code of professors too. What are you teaching in Michigan University if you're teaching there? Because I'm sure you must be acting like a good shoe woman when you go to the university, and then when you come to YouTube, you just spread hate. Aren't you concerned that one of your students may see this? Or one of your co-workers may see this? I really hope they do that. And if it's that is what I've been told, that you work in Michigan University as a professor. If that is true, then oh my God, shame on Michigan University for hiring you. Obviously, they don't know what you do when you're not in the university, but they need to know. And when I have people in my channel coming and explaining how they've been bullied and how you're bullying disabled people and blind people, then you need to be checked. The more you do it, the more I'll expose you. You can go and report to me. What will you report me for? For being mindful? For having respect? For having class? Go report to me. But your channel just proves all the hate you're promoting. And for whoever's putting in links in my channel with all these nasty sites, I've already reported that to YouTube. I promise you. And they're monitoring it. I don't know what's the rules and laws in the United States, but I've said that before. In UK, bullying, harassment can get you into prison. Promoting hate against religion, especially against disability people. Oh my God, that is shameful. Shameful. And then you're standing and doing all this while your children are in your house? What kind of a person are you? What kind of a parent are you? What are you teaching your children? I never interfere in people's lives, and I never have spoken about how people raise their children. But you're putting it out in public. They say don't start something you can't finish. So my dear, I would advise you, you better check yourself before you wreck yourself. Because you are hitting on vulnerable people. Nobody is scared of you. Maybe you didn't find people to stand up against your nonsense. But you got my attention when you started about my religion. And now you're getting my attention when you start attacking vulnerable people. Bullying and hate is the policy against YouTube. So you please clean up your platform and clean up your act, because you're being monitored. Anyway, guys, I had to get that out because I had to respond to the comments of the people who are actually the few people who are defending her and trying to explain to me Leah is a good Muslim. I don't know what kind of Muslim Leah is, but I promise you, I'm a Muslim. I'm born a Muslim. I grew up a Muslim, and I'll tell you something. If Leah had any respect about Islam, she wouldn't have been saying the nasty things that was coming out of her mouth. It's not only about Islam. Any faith doesn't allow nonsense like that to be going on. And whoever left me that comment, please do some active listening and watch the clip properly before you try and defend them and try to tell me that I misunderstood. I don't misunderstand, I do active listening. Misunderstanding is far from counseling. So whoever wants to defend this woman, please do not leave me comments defending her, because that just shows you're as shameless as her. Number one. I deal with bullies for a living and with vulnerable people. I ain't going to have it on YouTube. And I do not want any vulnerable person to suffer with serious depression, anxiety, PTSD, and especially we've lost Jose. In Summer's case, we've lost Jose 3 months ago, 4 months ago, to suicide because of half of the nonsense that was happening in YouTube. If I can prevent someone's life and if I can prevent someone not suffering, I will do that because I love human beings. I love mankind, no matter what religion people are, no matter what color they are, no matter what race they are. We are all God's children. So stop your nonsense. And I really hope that Michigan University or whichever university you work on checks what you're doing. Don't think we are scared of you for a second. Because there's a big difference between your channel and my channel. You may have thousands or more subscribers than me. It doesn't matter. My channel is here to spread love, awareness for mental health, physical health, for people in need. And I didn't start this. You started it. I'm just focusing and monitoring the nastiness that comes out of your mouth. Because I'm not having it. Once you're attacking Muslims, now you'll talk about disabled people. What kind of boundaries do you have? Where is your boundaries? Where's your ethical morals? Did you open this channel for hate, to promote hate? Because that's not what YouTube is about. Guys, I hope everyone's well. Thank you a lot for the beautiful comments I got. And guys, please stand up for the vulnerable people. People with disabilities are not supposed to be taken lightly. I heard even today she's talking something about, was it Portland or something, Oregon, that they're trying to take a fancy restaurant and make it into segregating the people, to making it that black people would sit in a corner and white people would sit in a corner. For her to be even bringing it and discussing it up in the channel is promoting hate. I don't know which world you come from, my dear. You must have missed in 2008 up to 2016. Barack Obama was your president, wasn't he? It's really, really sad to see what you talk about as a professor, if you are a professor. I really doubt that you are. I really doubt. But even if you are, whoa, that is a shame. Shame, shame, shame. You need to go back and check the guidance of YouTube. You need to go back and check the guidance of being a professor. The person in the comment was trying to explain to me that she was making, she didn't mean that and she meant this, and when she wore the towel, she was like this and she didn't mean that. Stop defending it. I'm not blind. I saw what I saw. I heard what I heard. And so has many other people.